All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of God, Greed, and Guile.
Your opinion is a lot.
We're going to go ahead and get right on into it today, guys. We're going to go ahead and talk about David E. Taylor's short. What did he say? How did he say? His short surfacing from Shutaway, right?
Your opinion is a lot.
So David comes out, says here I am, I'm briefly surfacing from Shutaway, and I'm going to go into a deeper consecration. God wants me to stay in Shutaway longer. This Shutaway, guys, this is all hiding, actually. David's in hiding. What? David claims because of the pandemic, he's put off. We're going to talk about quite a few things today, by the way, guys. Several things, because David came out of a Shutaway for 2 years, right? All the while, been running reruns, taking in donations, not filing his taxes. So he comes out of Shutaway, says to all his cult followers with recorded videos, right, that I need to go back into Shutaway because God told me. God told me I need to go back into Shutaway. I didn't even go to my dad's funeral because God told me I needed to stay in Shutaway because that's what God told me.
Your opinion is a lot.
By the way, follow my channel on YouTube, Apostle David E. Taylor, Full Frontal Exposure. I do weekly updates there. More content is there, and I'm still learning the podcast part, but let's get back into David. So David comes out of Shutaway. Here we are, 2 years, right? Now David's going to go back into Shutaway. And he has, during his little spiel, right, he comes out for like 1 or 2 days, for like a total of maybe 15 minutes, right? All the while he has his cult minions out there, Bishop George Scott, and That's right,
I said it.
We haven't seen Michelle. We only saw Ashley for a little bit. Michelle hasn't. Nobody's seen her fucking face, except some of my sources. So they're in Shutaway still, guys, and they're hiding behind these big walls. You know, David comes out, says, "I need to go back in." Okay, well, what do you need to go back into Shutaway for, David? The pandemic is pretty much over. The Amway Arena is booked full. Okay. So for you to come out and say that the Amway Arena isn't full, again, I'm going to tie a lot of things in here today, guys. His scams, all this other bullshit that he's doing, okay?
That's right, I said it.
So one of David's scams here, everybody, check this out. All right, let's talk about the Amway Arena. I'll tie this in right here. We'll start right here with the Amway Arena. So David's been preaching this Amway Arena bullshit since 2019, okay? David's been saying, hey, I'm going to fill the Amway Arena up with 20,000 people and we're going to heal all these people with cancer. But no, it's fucking bullshit. That shit doesn't happen anymore. David's about, 10, 15 years too late to the the prosperity ministers, the movement. For somebody like David to come out this late in the game and try to preach his bullshit is just counterproductive. Especially when there's social media and the way it works. If anybody's seen the deposition, that's why we're here, guys, okay? If you've seen the deposition, that's why you're listening to my voice right now. If you know anything about David, it most likely started with the bullshit-ass deposition, which there's no end. That was a civil case, guys. He was just a witness, okay? So keep that in mind. That was David in that, he was there to make a complete ass of himself, which he did perfectly, okay? So back to the Amway Arena. So David's been preaching this Amway Arena for the last, 4 or 5 years, 4 years, since 2019 was the first side of it. That was where he has his big board. He has Michelle and Joseph and somebody else bring it back out. And it's saying, I'm going to fill this arena up with all these people, and we're going to have semis that are going to fill up all the medical equipment of all these healed people. Right? It doesn't happen. Keeps pushing it off and off and off and off and off. We're 2022 going into 2023 now, so almost 4 or 5 years that he's been pushing this shit off to his cult followers. This arena, right, it's at full capacity, all right? They're booking out tour dates. I think Elton John was just there recently. There's games. Amway Arena is not closed, okay? David, if you're listening to this, you're full of shit, all right? The Amway Arena isn't closed. It hasn't been. I think they started going to full capacity, like, I don't know, maybe about 6 to 8 months ago, David. So, Amway Arena, the reason...
That's right, I said it.
The reason the Amway isn't going to work, David, is because you can't afford it.
Don't call him
David.
Don't call him David.
David.
Don't call him David.
So the Amway Arena, David thinks he's legitimately going to pack this Amway Arena with 20,000 people, everybody, okay? He really does. David believes himself, everybody. Check this out. Some of the sources out there, and again, you'll never hear who my sources are. I just say sources. Just call them sources, okay? Say that there is no way David is going to pack this arena, okay? One, he can't afford it, okay? Two, I mean, let's just get the biggest thing is he can't afford it, okay? He can definitely afford to buy up all these mansions and everything, right? But he can't afford the fucking arena. There's no fucking way in hell this idiot is going to fill an arena with 20,000 people and heal them of all their cancer and all their sicknesses. No, that ain't fucking happening. David himself is sick, but we'll get into that in a little bit later.
Don't call him David.
That's Michelle Brannon, okay? That's his number one concubine, by the way, and that's a video on my channel. That's a phone call from, yeah, we'll get into that later too. That can be a whole other discussion, but Amway Arena, not happening, logistically, can't afford it, doesn't have people to set up his bullshit ass stage, okay? That is also, everybody, a part of his scam, okay? Let's talk about that real quick, and I'm going to get kind of heavy into that because I think that's important everybody should know. Okay, this stage, check this out, I've done my research, and okay, so here's the deal. I'm going out on a limb here, and this is all facts, guys, and I'm going to just fucking dive deep on into it. The place he's having this stage built, okay, is a place called Movie Prop Rentals. All right, it's out of Gladeview, Florida. I've done my research, talked to sources, a lot of people, put this information out in the real world, okay, and here's what we got back. This stage, okay, it is being built by a professional stage set builder, guys. Check this out. It's a very professional organization that's building this stage. Building stages for like Terminator, Jurassic Park, Pirates of the Caribbean, Christina Aguilera, Lady Gaga. Guys, I did my research. I have no reason to sit here and bullshit you about this, okay? So David's paying fucking top dollar for this stage to take to the Amway Arena to heal 20,000 people, right? But it isn't going to happen because the stage isn't built. That stage, they're in over $1 million on it, okay? They're probably in over $1.5 million now, I would like to think, with storage fees and shit like that. So let's say they're pushing $2 million on the stage because it's not done yet. Okay, now they have to transport that stage, okay? First they got to pay for the stage. First it's got to get finished, all right? And that stage, it should have probably been finished about 2 years ago, right? Stage should have been finished about 2 years ago. It's still not done. First, they got to get it finished, okay? Then they got to pay for it. Then they got to have somebody to teach them how to tear it down and set it up, which is union labor work, all right? Looked into all that. Again, David, we've sent this information out to the real world, man. We're not dumb, all right? Now you have to have somebody to unload it, load it, set it up. Again, David, this whole Amway, the Arena Crusades, because he plans on doing this around America and around the world, everybody, okay? Check this out. David thinks he's going to do this convoy of miracle arena crusades around the world in America. In America alone, he's trying to be like a fucking rock star. What David doesn't understand in this is that these things only get exponentially more expensive. Like you do one, well, guess what? The second one's going to be fucking twice as expensive. It's going to be even more. I mean, but think of what an actual, like an actual rock and roll band. Because if anybody knows about the rock industry, like the music industry, it's fucking washed out. Like you have to do so much to make a little bit of money, right? You got to bust your ass, and that's what David doesn't understand in this. And David, let's talk about another thing here. David is too unhealthy to be doing some shit like that right now, okay? David is in very, very poor health.
Don't call him David.
Don't call him David. So, the stage, Movie Prop Rentals, Gladeview, Florida, in $1 million plus, okay, on this project. The project, this is what my sources tell me, okay? This project, ultimately, probably should have taken about a year, okay? What they should have done, what it sounds like they're paying it in installments, okay? Because what I was told by a lot of sources on my YouTube channel, David E. Taylor Full Frontal Exposure, is that these things are usually paid up front, right? These things are usually paid up front. There's a lot of communication between the design, the project manager, and the client. These things are usually paid up front. That way, it can just be done, right? Now, check out inflation through the pandemic, lumber prices, everything, guys. That stage set went up exponentially because of lumber prices during the pandemic if they were doing any kind of building on it, okay? I mean, just lumber prices alone, probably $500,000, okay? And this stage, it can only be used for David. Who the fuck else is going to use this stage except David? Nobody else is going to buy it. What the hell is anybody going to use it for? If anybody's seen the stage design, it's a fucking hideous idea. You look at it and you're like, yeah, that's a fucking dumb idea. And the thing is the way he wants to set this stage up, everybody, is not, he wants to set it up basically the length of the arena and not the width. He's saying the stage is 250 feet fucking long and that he's going to set it up in these big arenas. I recommend everybody go and look at his stupid ass idea. It's dumb. And he's wasting donor deposits on it. He has no plan, he has no intent, everybody, of setting up the stage, taking it to the Amway. None of this. The Amway and the stage go hand in hand with the convoy of miracles and all this other bullshit, okay? Really does. This whole scam that David's running, it's a multi-tiered religious Ponzi scheme. It's gone, in my opinion, talking to like some real pastors in this, guys, talking to some real religious people, some real religiously grounded people who I've met through my YouTube channel and who I confide in a lot, actually. This cult has gone beyond destructive, beyond dangerous. This is now, it's like situation critical with this fucking place. It really is. In my opinion, this has gone beyond Jim Jones type shit, okay? We haven't seen these people for over fucking 2 fucking years, and they're saying, oh, we gotta go back into hiding. What the fuck are they hiding for? That's my big question. If David said he's going to do these big miracle crusades in arenas, well, hey, guess what, David? Everything's open, dude. Get your ass out of hiding and start doing some fucking healing, okay? Set up your big stage. Go heal all these people of cancer. Not going to happen. Amway Arena, can't afford it. I mean, the stage isn't even finished, guys. And again, I recommend everybody do the research. I've done mine. I've done mine here. I have. I've had to look up things. It's taken about 2 years to gather all the content that I have stored in my head. Everything I'm telling you here is facts. I have no reason to sit here and lie to you guys about it. The stage, where it's being built, how much it's cost, where David's at, all the houses, everything. The money being spent, taxes, the lack of transparency. Huge lack of transparency. The JMMI tax ID number has already been revoked. So if anybody calls in, okay, to this fucking cult hotline and they answer JMMI, Joshua Media Ministries, guess what? It's fucking fraud because their tax ID number, here it is, 331174241, which is JMMI, Joshua Media Ministries International, has been revoked, okay? And that address where that tax ID number has been revoked is 2008 Victory Way Lane, which is a fucking sham address for the cult, okay? I don't know why the fuck they have the address. They're trying to use it for a tax write-off, I know that. And my source tells me in one of those that they actually tried to get a discount on the rent, and they pretty much told them to fuck off. Michelle went in to the office at 2008 Victory Way Lane at the leasing office with an attitude, or called her some, if I remember, it's calling. She called. They were real shitty, wanting a discount on the rent through the pandemic because they were a church. They're like, well, we can't give you a discount, but we can waive the late fees. And then apparently just hung up on them. So 2008 Victory Way Lane, it's all a bullshit address. Nobody's been living there. I think David probably uses that as like a hiding place or a smash pad, or just, again, tax write-off. They use it as some bullshit address to send mail to. That's it. And 2008 Victory Way Lane, I think that's in St. Louis somewhere. Let me double check that real quick. That way I can give you that right out what city it's in. And it's just a bullshit address, you guys. There's nothing special about it. It's a ghetto-ass fucking apartment. Nobody lives there. And they're paying rent on it with donor deposits still. I always wonder who's... It's in St. Louis. 63138, that's the zip code. It looks like it's off of 367. So that apartment, guys, that's all part of his tax scam and everything. Back to the Amway Arena. Sorry, this is how complex this scam is. Once you start talking about something, it segues off into something you could go so many different ways with the way that David is running this scam. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. The IRS hasn't kicked down his fucking door yet and audited every single fucking book. I mean, a church taking cryptocurrency, guys, Bitcoin, shitcoin is what we should call it. That's what I call it. Fucking worthless. Fucking worthless, alright? That's just my opinion. I'll never invest in Bitcoin or any of that shit, man. Some people might think it's all good and everything, but I don't. That's just my opinion. Don't take my word for it. What I see from it is enough for me to make my assumption that, hey, I don't need to invest in that, okay? It doesn't look like a good idea to me. Alright, so back to the stage, Amway Arena. Can't do it. It's way too expensive. He can't afford this, guys, okay? He really can't. And if anybody's watched David E. Taylor's bullshit online, you know exactly what we're talking about. You're probably sitting back like, there is no fucking way this guy's going to pull this bullshit off. There is no way he can pull it off. Too much money. He is... David, you're trying to be like a fucking rock star. And you'll never be, David.
Don't call him David.
Don't call him David.
Your opinion is a lie.
Your opinion is a lie.
Your opinion is a lie.
Alright, so let's move on to the next, okay? Amway Arena, not happening, too expensive, can't even fucking book it. If he does book it, it's just... It's like he's running the same infomercials and shit over and over again to basically fool his followers about what's actually going on. Like, he came out of shuttle, his hiding... to me, guys, he's hiding, okay? David is scared, he's hiding, he's running, and he's scared from the fucking tax fraud that is probably hit. I'm filing fraud against him, everybody. That's what I do on my YouTube channel, and I let everybody know it's okay to do it. I actually just updated some fraud forms, so if anybody wants to help get in on this and file fraud with the IRS, the forms are on my channel. I just updated them. All you got to do is print those motherfuckers, sign them. You have to put your legal info, okay? Put a stamp on an envelope, address it, and mail that motherfucker, okay? That's the only way. Listen up, everybody. Listen up. That is the only way you can stop these kind of organizations. I'm trying to get his fucking tax exempt status revoked on all of his tax ID numbers because he's got 2 different tax ID numbers that are still valid that he filed for recently, guys. He's got Kingdom of God Global Church, okay? Let's talk about his tax ID numbers now since I'm on it. Got Kingdom of God Global Church, which is 811-95992. Then he's got Marvels in America World Healing, which is 850766107, okay? Those are all tax ID numbers that have been filed by this one organization. 4 different tax ID numbers. The first 2 were Resurrection Media Ministries International. That one's already been fucking bankrupted. Joshua Media Ministries International, which has been now revoked by the IRS. Okay? Now they have Kingdom of God Global Church, which last time I called, that's what they answered the phone was Kingdom of God Global Church. And then when you look up on the IRS website, you can also find their other tax ID number, the 850766107, which is registered to a Marvels in America World Healing, which that IRS determination letter is addressed to 1302 Wild Horse Meadows in Chesterfield, Missouri, right, which they no longer own. Okay, that was one of the... Look, we could talk the houses on another one. We'll get into the houses here in a little bit, okay? And I'm driving down on David scams. I want to... people, listen up. This is a huge, huge money laundering scheme going on. Huge, man. I don't even know how many... David has probably brought in hundreds of millions of dollars and not reported it to the IRS. None of it. Nothing, guys. Nothing, from what I've seen and what I've checked, nothing has been reported since 2017 with this place, and they're jumping around tax ID numbers.
Your opinion is a lie.
What does everybody think of that? What does everybody think of that? Why would one organization need so many tax ID numbers? Two that have been, one's been bankrupted, one's been revoked. Now they have two more that they're fucking operating on. How much more evidence does the IRS need to go fucking audit these assholes? They're taking in crypto, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, whatever form of... Let me take a peek. What else I got written up here on my board? Apple, Bitcoin, cash stocks, bonds, 401k, gold, wire transfers, real estate, and they are fucking... Somebody just quit claimed a house over to this fucking cult, everybody. I'm not bullshitting you. The address is 1280 Southwest 38th Street in Ocala, Florida. You can look up the quit claim deeds on the County Appraisal District in Ocala, Florida, and find this address there. And it's been quit claim deed over by some old couple. And the husband, it says on the quit claim deed, is incapacitated, and the wife fucking signed over the house to these fucking assholes, everybody. People are legitimately laying possessions at these fucking people's feet, man. This has gone on. I'm calling elderly abuse on this, because when it says an incapacitated husband, it tells me that the husband isn't of sound mind, and that what if the wife could be possibly mentally ill? All right. This is what I try to get at on my channel, is this scam is absolutely ridiculous. It's deep, it's dangerous, and it's gone beyond Jim Jones, everybody. It really has. It's gone beyond Jim Jones tactics. Could we possibly see a suicide event? I don't put it past these people. I don't put it past these people. David looked like absolute shit still when we saw him just this last week, everybody. He looks like absolute dog shit. Still. And I got an email.
Your opinion is a lot. Your opinion is a lot.
I got an email from one of my sources who was actually watching all the way over from Ireland, everybody. Check this out. One of my sources from Ireland, well, I call them our sources because they're ours. Emailed me. I got the email right here. My source emails me. So I had my cousin, who is a consultant anesthesiologist, have a look at David's last video to confirm or refute my feelings on his health. She agrees with my synopsis. Okay. The gray cast to his skin is most likely due to compromised oxygenation of the blood. Most likely, David is trying to lose some weight so he can safely undergo coronary bypass surgery. That would explain the ongoing shutaway, as he'll need to hit a target for even bariatric surgery. Once he's had it, it will take a few months to get back on his feet, depending on whether it's open heart or endoscopic surgery. They may try stents if the surgery is too risky. Symptom-wise, he will be very breathless, hence the only very brief periods of standing. He will have unstable angina, which is heart pain and exertion. The skin coloration is very obvious regardless of ethnicity. Okay, so that's my source coming all the way from fucking Ireland. This source emailed me long time ago. Probably about a year ago. Yeah, 8 months ago. And emailed me out of the blue and pointed out some of the physical symptoms of David being sick. If I got off onto another segue, I apologize here, guys. But David is indeed sick. And what my source pointed out is something very... When they pointed it out to me, I did my own research, and sure shit enough, okay, if you look under David's eyes, all right, if you look under David's eyes, yeah, he's got big fucking dark circles because he's tired, stressed, anxiety, the works. No doubt some narcotic use in there, for sure. 100%. Definitely narcotic use. It looks like he's slowed down. He's not chewing his lip as much anymore as he was last year. So I'm thinking maybe the doctor told him, like, hey, you better lay off the uppers, man, because if you don't, your heart's going to fucking explode. All right? So, and same with his deposition. If anybody saw him in his deposition, he chewed his fucking lip the whole deposition. Right?
That's right, I said it.
So David...
Don't call him David.
David chews his lip the whole deposition, but now when we see him this year, you don't see any lip chewing. There's a lot of physical signs of narcotic abuse with this guy. There really is. There's a lot of symptoms that we see in our group that are like, man, this guy's fucked up. This guy's on some serious drugs. Definitely a mixture of drugs, all right? I mean, and to keep him medicated, I mean, he'd probably have to take a half a bottle of fucking pills. Now cross narcotic abuse with, okay, hypercholesterolemia, which is fucking, it's not high cholesterol. David takes everything to the extreme, even his fucking cholesterol. Like, he doesn't have high cholesterol. David has hypercholesterol. That's how bad David's health is. No doubt. I don't know. I think type 2 is like you get that, and type 1 is the worst one. Again, I'm not a medical professional here, but I think type 2 is the one where, you can manage it if you take care of your health really well. But David, being the fucking glutton that he is, he doesn't take care of his health. We know David doesn't.
Don't call him David.
We know David doesn't take care of his health. We've seen that, and we know for sure, coming from sources, survivors of this cult. Check out on my channel. I just did an interview with a survivor the other night. It's about an hour and a half interview. Listen to what that guy said. David is, in 2016, they were worried about his health. It's 2022. His health did nothing but fucking take a plummet. He looks like shit. David was not taking care of his health. At all. At all. And if anybody's seen the more recent videos, he still looks like shit, everybody. Okay? He still looks like shit. So that's David. So David's going to definitely... Another reason why he's going into hiding is because he's sick. That was kind of what the podcast was going to be about today, was David being sick and going back in his fucking bullshit hiding. For him to say that, oh, I need to go back into consecration with Jesus because she told me I don't need to come out for a long time. And what he says on his videos, he's like, he uses this really lotion-ass soft voice when he's like, bye-bye. And it's on the very first video, he's like, bye-bye. This whispering-ass voice, like, trying to be some fucking... I don't know. It struck our whole group as very kind of like, what the fuck? I mean, what was that all about, David? Don't call him David. I could see Michelle on the other end just making a shit-eating grin face like, don't call him David. So, David's health, very poor. He was on a high cholesterol diet. Everything. Hang on, I got a comment from one of my followers here. DeAndre Franklin. I'll bet he'll leave his shut away now. No, he won't leave his shut away. He's going back into hiding. He's going back into hiding. No doubt. He's going to go back into hiding because he can no longer maintain this scam any longer, guys. He can't. He cannot maintain this scam any longer. It's costing too much money. It really is. There's no way David can do this. It's too much. It's too much. I mean, you're talking, to do a tour like David's doing you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, especially with diesel prices too. There's no way. In David's health, there's no way David can get up on stage and start waltzing back and forth and shit and fucking doing his preaching to Jesus because he's not in good health. That's what the interview brought up the other night. That these people don't eat well. Okay, if you're at David's cult, you're not eating well. David in his upper echelon probably are. David's eating like a fucking fat rat, that's for sure. One of my sources in this, guys, check this out. They were having live lobster delivered. This is real shit, man. Live lobster to their mansions weekly, several times a week, sometimes. So David was not eating a very plant-based or what you would call square diet. He's eating a very unhealthy, unbalanced, probably fucking cholesterol, fat-ridden diet, which is why he looks like shit, everybody. I'm still on his health here for a little bit. But, again, this is why David isn't going to do his Amway Arena. See how everything's tying in together, guys? I know it's a fucking mess, but everything is tying in together. He can't do the Amway because he's obviously sick. He can't do the Amway because he can't afford it. The trucks, he can't get... Everything is not going to work. Nothing's going to work with this fucking cult, like he's saying. All he's doing is taking in donations using deceptive practices, using a 501c3, which is against the IRC, which is the Internal Revenue Code. I have the IRC sitting here right in front of me, okay? I've looked up a lot of the stuff that David's doing, and a lot of this shit is illegal as fuck. The IRS, it's funny that you got some fucking desk jockey at the IRS sitting back making determination on who can be a fucking church, man. What the fuck? You got some fucking goon who doesn't even know, who probably doesn't even have any theology background. Just my opinion. I'm just calling it like I see it. You got some idiot up there at the IRS, and through the pandemic, look what happened. PPP fraud up the fucking ass, everybody. And this cult actually pulled a $30,000 PPP loan, most likely, in my opinion, to pay for the fucking attorney fees they were fighting a court battle with Harold Lewis in the residential center. Again, another segue. I'm telling you guys, this goes on in so many... It's like, man, it's like a fucking spider web of scams, man. It's like I could build a fucking flow chart on these fucking scams, and it would just be absolutely ridiculous. It would take up a whole fucking room. It would. It would take up a whole room, guys, to basically build a flow chart on this scam, on this multi-tiered religious fucking Ponzi scheme. All it is to fucking launder money and get your money. That's it. They're dumping assets. They're dumping their money now into all these mansions. Okay? So $30,000 PPP loan, yes, they got one. And I'm not sure if they got it under Joshua Media Ministries or if they got it under Kingdom of God Global Church. I fucking hope they got it under Joshua Media Ministries now that tax ID number has been revoked. Because if the tax ID number has been revoked and they got that PPP loan under that tax ID number, then they're fucked. I mean, they're fucked anyways. Because the one thing they can't do and they can't get me against is the fraud reports that I'm filing. They can't touch me on those. No way, no how they can touch me. Guarantee it. They can't. They tried to. They tried to send me a cease and desist that I couldn't file fraud against them. You have a organization that's not paying their taxes sending out a cease and desist telling me to not file fraud against an organization that's not paying taxes when I pay the shit out of my fucking taxes because I'm self-employed. I pay the shit out of my fucking taxes, and these assholes get away with laundering fucking hundreds of millions of dollars. The government just turns a fucking cheek and says, oh, there's nothing wrong here. Yeah, we're not going to do anything about it. They're laundering hundreds of millions. But hey, you know what? Hey, we're going to come over and fuck over the little guy real quick. If I fuck up on my taxes, they're going to come take my money. If you or I, the listener, whoever's out there listening, if there is anybody listening right now, if you or I were to do the same kind of behavior David's doing, you know what we'd be getting? Prison time. Straight up. Straight up. If we weren't a 501c3 and I was out there scamming people like David is, fuck, dude, I would be in so much trouble. I would be in a heap load of shit. They'd take my house, car, my business, all my money, all my assets. They'd basically kick me out to the street and be like, yeah, you're homeless now. Go fuck yourself. Have a nice day. But again, this is why I do this. This is why I put this information out. So where were we at? The IRC code, I can talk about how investigations work with that when we will never know. Okay, check this out. When there's supposed to be transparency in churches and the tax system and things like that when it comes to churches, if there's an investigation, a case, whatever, if there's anything ever done into a tax investigation, we will never know about it because it's against the Internal Revenue Code to disclose that information to the public. But yet these guys are public entities, right? Why can't we know about the outcome of an investigation when they're a public entity? When they're filing as a non-profit organization, as a tax-exempt organization I think that information should be pretty fucking transparent to the public, whether the investigation came up with some fucking shitty findings or if that church is on the up and up. Yes or no? If anybody can agree with my opinion, please leave it in the comment section below my YouTube channel. Because this is a question I ask all the time. Why isn't there transparency? They're filing as public entities, right? They preach in the public. They're taking in public donations. Why the fuck can't we see the outcome of the investigations? That's my question. My question. I think it's just some bullshit, David.
Don't call him David.
David's using the tax system to basically manipulate everything to get away with crimes, white collar crimes, everything, guys. This has gone beyond Jim Jones, in my opinion. I mean, they're hiding behind their high walls and everything. You know, the government needs to pull their head out of their ass, okay? Because this is the most dangerous cult in America right now. It really is. If you know of another one in America right now that's just as dangerous, let me know, please. I know of a couple. You got the 12 Tribes out of California, which is a full blown sex cult. Okay, there's a couple. That's the one I'm kind of looking in on the backside right now. Catherine Crick, she's kind of a cult leader coming up, but she's just fucking crazy. But today's topic is David and just everything he's doing, guys. It's gone beyond. It's out of control. It's out of control. He's blatantly scamming. He's blatantly telling everybody, fuck you, there's nothing you can do about it. Just by him doing what he's doing and continuing on with the scam and telling and not filing and jumping around tax ID numbers, it's like he thinks he's really going to get away with it. And, I mean, jumping around the tax ID numbers, I mean, I would like to think, again, that would be cause enough for the IRS to be like, yeah, we need to look into this motherfucker. We need to look into him more thoroughly. Which they should. They absolutely should. That's why I filed fraud against him. I got fraud reports with David and Michelle's name on it right here.
Don't call him David.
I just updated some, like I said earlier on in the podcast. I updated the fraud reports. They are on my YouTube channel, David E. Taylor Full Frontal Exposure. There's absolutely nothing sexual about my channel. Let's be clear about that. It's just the way I'm exposing these people is very publicly, very full frontally, like right in your fucking face, because this is what needs to be done. There's a lot of channels out there that are going about it, hitting them with scripture and such and things like that, and I definitely support that because there has to be. I believe for David to go down, he has to be hit with scripture and he has to be hit with the fucking raw truth, basically. The scripture isn't going to get him. The raw truth is going to get him. All the scams and all the lying he's been doing, that's what's going to get him. Us coming out here and talking about it like this, people coming out saying, hey, this scam's bullshit.
That's right, I said it.
Which it is. Everything David is doing is bullshit. There is no truth to anything that David is doing. The one thing he's doing is fucking shutaway. He's hiding. Yeah, that's the one truth that he's doing. The other truth that he's doing is fucking buying up mansions with your money. If you're one of these members from this, if you follow David E. Taylor and you're giving him money, he's fucking buying houses with your money, okay? I put all that stuff out on my channel. We're not lying to you. We know people have given up houses already. I'll tell you the addresses of all the houses. They're all over the fucking place, man. I mean, the houses, I believe, everybody, there is a human trafficking dynamic going on to that because of all the fucking properties they're buying up. The one property, Nellie's mansion, see, again, segue off into something different, all right? Taking in fucking donations or deposits to his bank account to buy big houses. He's bought, it looks like three properties in the last 5 years, man. They brought up numerous properties. The 5 big ones that they have, there's 4 big properties with with houses, and then they have one in the same area that's just property with a lake. So they got 2 houses in Florida, all right? Those addresses, one is 1280 Southwest 38th Street in Ocala, Florida. Ocala, I don't know how to fucking say it, Ocala. Then you have 706 Guisando de Avila, which is down in Tampa, Lutz area, which is in the Avila Country Club area. It's in a gated community. That property, the 706 Guasando de Avila, was sold by the ex-coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The lady, I can't remember her name. Keisler, or something like that. Let's see here. Let me get the exact name. It was a big purchase. It was the only reason we found out about it is because who sold it, not who bought it. And the lady that wrote the article about the place being sold put everything out brilliantly. Darcy Glazer Kasowitz. Okay. Yep. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, so Darcy Glazer Kasowitz sells the house. David buys it. $8.4 million. Let's see. Paying $15,000 a month in HOA fees. Fuck, man. Sold for $8.3 million. All right. So 706 Guasando de Avila, Tampa, Florida, 33613. Sold April 12th, 2022. Let's double check here. Yeah, it sold in April of 2022. All right. $8.4 million. There is a source out there from Tampa that wrote the initial article. Two things this article said in it about that were very important. Who they got the loan from, okay, which was Crosby Capital USA, which is in Miami Beach, Florida, which is actually a fucking corrupt-ass fucking financial firm, which has also filed bankruptcy in New York. I recommend everybody look up that place. Corrupt financial firm, doing shady shit, also involved in fucking real estate fraud, okay? Guys, this scam goes in so many different fucking places. I can't even sit here. I could talk about one scam and then go into another. It's just I mean, the IRS, once they unfold this scam, the IRS isn't going to be too pleased about having to do all this work. They're really not. Once they bust his ass, if they bust him, they're going to be very upset because now you're changing names. And that's showing intent. If you're changing your names, that shows you know what you're doing. So he can't go in there and say, oh, I didn't know that was illegal bullshit. Why did you change your fucking name so many times? I would honestly like to see those applications for those new tax ID numbers. Like, whose name is on those applications? David or Michelle's or somebody else? That's my question. Who is on those applications for those 501c3 exemptions? Again, guys, human trafficking, money laundering, white-collar crimes, tax evasion. I believe there's some sort of fucking drug trafficking. Maybe not heavy, but there's some sort of drugs going in and out of this place. I do believe there's a drug control tactic to it. What else? I mean, fuck, guys. So I got the properties in Florida. Okay. So that one, Guasando de Avila. Source in that says, with the house in Tampa, in the Lutz area, my source told me recently that that house needs a lot of work. That it needs a lot of work. Due to, basically how the house was built. All right. Now let's move up north to the Chesterfield, Missouri area, Wildwood, Missouri area. There's 15400 Tim Page, the residential center, okay, which is a big fucking mess. That is a whole controversy in and of itself. You could do a whole podcast on the residential center by itself, really. All right. So they have 15400 Tim Page, which Michelle owns, is now in her name. You can also look up that information on the County Appraisal District. So then you have 18205 Hager Lane, which is also up in the Chesterfield Wildwood area. Chesterfield Wildwood, they're all kind of in the same place, guys. They're all kind of a stone, like a hop, skip, and a jump drive, pretty much, to get from one place to the other. Let me take a peek here. They're really not far off. It's real close, guys. Yeah, like Chesterfield, Wildwood, Florissant. They're all in the same area. Okay, so Chesterfield, 18205 Hager Lane. Then you got 1216 Babbler Park Court. 1216 Babbler Park Court is it's just property that I was telling you guys about, that it's just a property with lake property with a lake. It's like a pond almost. It's like a big pond. They were going to try and build a parsonage for Michelle out there, but because of engineering codes, they can't. Okay, and it actually has to do with county restrictions of the fire department not being able to drive out there in case of a fire, because the grade level is too steep for the fire trucks to go out there. So it's actually county ordinance for the fire department that they wouldn't be able to build out there. So 1216 Babbler Park Court, that is there, and they're kind of right next to each other. 17. Then you got 18205 Hager Lane, 1216 Babbler Park Court, 15400 Tim Page. They sold the 1302 Wild Horse Meadows. Okay, they sold that to a doctor. That house has been bought and sold. Now, okay, check this out. 17329 Hidden Valley Drive. Okay. 17329 Hidden Valley Drive is in and of itself also a living and breathing fucking money pit. It really is. That house, everybody, check this out, okay? That house was originally owned by Nellie, okay? Nellie originally lived in that house. And you can look it up on YouTube and shit. You can find it. So Nellie, being the degenerate that he is, okay, refused to pay the taxes on that house. They lived in it for a while, but refused to pay taxes. Nellie wasn't paying his taxes, period, right? Wasn't paying his taxes. So they put a lien on the house. The house gets a lien put on it. And what I found out through my research, everybody, is that Nellie, being the piece of shit that he is, rents a bulldozer and then fucking bulldozes this pool in the backyard. Custom built. This house is custom, guys. It's not custom, but it's well, yeah, I guess it is custom built because it was designed by it was specially designed, yeah. So Nellie bulldozes the pool, moves the fuck out, right? Sits on the market for several years. You can look it up on YouTube, and you can see it. I recommend everybody go on YouTube and look up this address. You can look it up, and people have gone and done tours of it because people saying, "Oh, I want to buy Nellie's old house," but you go do the walkthrough on it, and it's a fucking dump, everybody. It's a fucking shithole dump. It really is. You look at it, and it's like, it makes sense that David would buy it because he's just a fucking idiot, and he thinks he's gonna fix it up. I mean, this house, you guys. Okay, and check this out. We'll get into the storm a little bit just in a second here. This house right now, what I found out through some of my friends on my YouTube channel, is that this house, it's going to take at least $2 million to fix up. That's being generous. Maybe more. Either the pool's going to need to be filled in or replaced, and that's you're looking at $250 to $500 right now. Okay, on that, because all the piping is going to need to be replaced, the pump, the works. That pool is probably fucking trash now because it stormed up there just recently. If anybody's listening, up in the Chesterfield and Wildwood, St. Louis area, they just got a shit ton of fucking rain. Feet, like it rained inches in a 24-hour period. With like 7 inches in some areas, 8 inches in some areas. It rained a lot, everybody. Rained a lot, and David's houses. We're smack right in the middle of that fucking flood. Thought it was great. I didn't want anybody else's houses to get hurt. I really don't. I just want David's houses to flood. I do, because in my opinion, like, I don't want to sit here because I have my beliefs, okay? I believe what I want to believe. That's the beauty of living in America. And from looking at it, it's like, this is like kind of a sign that God's kind of had it with David's shit. I mean, to dump that much rain right over David's like houses and shit, like, to me, that's kind of a sign that God's like, nah, I'm done with your ass, man. And again, I don't wish harm on anybody. I hope everybody's okay up there. I really do. But David's houses, especially the 17329 Hidden Valley Drive, Nellie's old house, that house is going to have a lot of fucking issues because it's got a flat roof. And if you're a contractor, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. I recommend everybody go and look and do the virtual tour on that property. I really do. Go do the virtual tour. It's on YouTube. It's an absolute dump, everybody. There's no carpet. It's down to the subfloors. You could see like the tack strips, no tile. There's fixtures removed, like sinks are going to need to be. It's a literal money pit property. It's going to take somebody millions of dollars to fix that place up. It's not going to take just a couple $100,000. Windows need replaced. The works. Everything. That house is a literal money pit, guys. Millions is going to need it to be fix that place up. I mean, Nelly put a basketball court. If you look at it, it's in a nice place, guys. It really is. It's on top of a hill, bitchin' view, and Nelly, being the fucking idiot that he is, puts a basketball court right in this picturesque view. You know, so that's just some of the problems that David's facing with these houses. And on some of these houses, I mean, HOA fees just for the 706 Gozando de Avia, $15,000 a month. Man, times that by 12, what? That's, he's paying $150,000 in HOA fees right there. Good way to spend your deposits, David, from your donors, huh? $150,000 a year on HOA fees. Huge money laundering going on here, guys. Excuse me. Check out my channel, David E. Taylor Full Frontal Exposure, where everybody's opinion is a lie. This has gone beyond. This has gone beyond anything, really.
Your opinion is a lot.
Anything probably some of us really has seen since Jim Jones. No bullshit. Who's been worse than Jim Jones since we've had Heaven's Gate? Okay, that one was a little bit different. There was a different. I mean, they all, yeah, mass suicide, but the dynamic, the tactics, the manipulation, everything we're seeing here from the deposition forward is just, the deposition was the start of David's downfall. And that one started in, November of 2014, and then it finished up in February 2015, the deposition. That's how we all know David. This is a deposition. That's, if you're listening to this, that's where we got started, is David's deposition, which was a total fucking shit show. And again, all David was in that, everybody, was a witness. Nothing more, nothing less. He was just there because he took Debbie's money. That was it. He was the one who took Debbie's money. Rick Frazier, I spoke to Rick Frazier earlier on, everybody. All Rick wanted to know where the fuck the money was going. That was it. That is all he wanted to know. And he even asked David, hey, will you just give her back $100,000? Give her back 10%. And David said, don't be ridiculous. So that's why Rick deposed him. Rick told him, hey, just give her back a little bit so she can at least get her life started. And David flat out fucking told him, don't be ridiculous. So, David, don't be fucking ridiculous. This is why we're here now, David.
Your opinion is a lot.
I mean...
So, what I'm sending you is accurate?
This is all accurate.
So, what I'm sending you is accurate? So, what I'm sending you is accurate?
Guys, not lying. Everything I've said here today is true. You can't lie about this. Cannot lie about this, guys. This cult is going beyond Jim Jones tactics now. It really is. I don't... The government needs to step in and just bust this piece of shit. I know the law is going to protect...
That's right, I said it. That's right, I said it.
The law is going to protect the church, but when the church, the cult, the organization becomes destructive and starts hurting people, then it becomes an issue for humanity. Because when these people leave, if you listen to the interview I had the other night, it's on my channel, on David E. Taylor Full Frontal Exposure. It's the main video. Listen to the interview. It's a long interview. I'm letting you know now. It's a long interview. It's an hour and a half long. All right? But there are a lot of questions asked. There was a lot of people in the chat wanting to know. I recommend you listen to it. Make your own valid assumption. Make your own valid observation. What do you think? Are there any cult survivors out there that are listening to this? Anybody from David's cult that are listening to this? Are you ready to get out? Do you need help out? Let us know. If anybody has family members in this and they want them and they don't know where they're at and they're trying to get a hold of them, you have to call the feds. You can't call local police, guys, okay? Not with these types of organizations. You can't call local police. If you have a family member tied up in a cult, a religious cult, call the FBI. That's who you have to call. That is what I found out, okay? If you're the local police aren't going to do a fucking thing about this, okay? Because of the dynamics of it. When they say it's a church, like, oh, we don't want to touch them. You get the fucking feds involved, you know what the feds are going to do? They're going to go start knocking on doors. I promise you. I guarantee you that. I guarantee my channel on that, okay? I put my channel on that. That's who you need to call. You don't call the local police. Call the FBI. Call your local field office. Every state has one. Every state has a local field FBI office. Some several. Texas has them all over the fucking place. They're all, you guys, if you live in a state, and you're going to want to call the state where you think call the state where you live. Call the state where you live. Call your local FBI office because that's where you're from, okay? This is true, guys. I'm not lying about this. This is how you put, if you want to do a welfare check on your loved ones that you think is in a cult, you have to call the feds. You have to. There's no other way around it. That's what I was told. Call the feds. So, everything I'm saying here is true, guys. I'm not lying about this. We've had specialists, survivors, medical specialists, real pastors, cult survivors, everything. Come on here and watch David and listen to everything and watch the dynamics, and everybody's saying, why isn't he in jail? Ask yourself that question today. When you're listening to this, if you're listening to this, ask yourself that one question today. Why isn't David in jail? I know he should be in jail because he's committing huge fucking white-collar crimes, financial crimes. He's trafficking humans. Why need all the properties, David? Huh? What's up with all the mansions, David? What are you doing behind all those fucking closed doors, David? David? Why do you need all those properties, David?
Don't call him David.
Michelle, Ghislaine Brannon, and David Epstein? Why do you guys need all these properties behind these gated walls? What are you hiding behind there? What's so secretive about your fucking cult, David? You claim to not be a cult and not be secretive, but you're real fucking secretive right now, aren't you? I'm curious. Y'all need to ask yourself that question today. Why does David need all these big mansions all over the place? What's the purpose behind all them? Where's the justification in the needs? I know he's no doubt running fucking phone calls scams out of them. I guarantee, 100% guys, there's phone scams being run out of these big properties. That's David's get down. Get people on the phone, get them begging for money, get deposits into the bank so they can just fucking pay all the bills. David.
Don't call him David.
The ministerial thing. Yes, where I teach leaders. We may work out of our little home or honorarium.
So,
that's what we call it.
Think about that today. Sorry about that. I was taking a drink of my drink here, guys. Think about that today. David, why do you need all these big properties?
I can assure you I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, I'm fucking sure you aren't, you piece of shit. Why are you jumping around all your shit, David? Guys, I didn't even get into a lot of the shit today. I segue off into so many different things. I mean, we could talk about the people he scammed, the lives he's destroyed, how many people wives he's fucking caused to divorce their husbands. I mean, it goes beyond just the money and the houses. It goes beyond him destroying families, having husbands and wives divorce each other, him emasculating men, sleeping with the women, traveling overseas to sleep with women, using fucking, cult member deposits to his bank account. This is all truth, guys. I know for facts. I've talked to some of these people that have been in bed with David. I have. They said he's fucking pathetic.
I can assure you I'm not doing anything illegal. I can assure you I'm not doing anything illegal. But I can assure you I'm not doing anything illegal.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there, guys, for the day. And if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, check out my YouTube channel, David E. Taylor Full Frontal Exposure, where...
Your opinion is a lot.
And you have any questions, feel free to ask me there. I have a Google Voice number set up. I have an email number set up. If you're a survivor of a cult and you want to get your message out, let us know. We're here to listen. So with that being said, you guys have a good day. I will be doing a live tomorrow night, Friday, on my YouTube channel. So if you want to tune in there, check it out. Again, I know religion is a tough topic, especially religious cults. It's not for everybody. I'm taking a very active kind of, how do you say, common sense approach to this, looking at the crimes that are being committed, pushing the religion aside, because they're using religion to commit the crimes. So you guys have a good day. Happy Thursday. And again, check out my YouTube channel, David E. Taylor Full Frontal Exposure, where everybody's opinion is a lie.